Hello and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, after President's rule was imposed in Uttarakhand, Harish Rawat now will meet the governor today and Congress will move court. We'll look closely at all the developments from Uttarakhand, also in the major boost for the Syrian forces. Now, ancient city of Palmyra has been recaptured from the Islamic State. That is our big international focus. We'll get you all the details. Let us begin with the headlines. President's rule imposed in Uttarakhand, a day ahead of trust vote for Harish Rawat government. Congress says it's a democracy's murder to challenge the decision in court. BJP defense decision says breakdown of governance in the hill state. 69 people killed and nearly 300 injured in a powerful suicide bomb attack in a park in Lahore in Pakistan. Prime Minister Modi calls up Nawaz Sharif, calls for uncompromising efforts to fight terror. Five-member joint investigation team from Pakistan to visit Pathankot Air Base today. Team likely to question witnesses, analyze the probe conducted by the NIA so far. Syrian army retakes Palmyra. Assad calls it a victory of strategy. Russian president assures army's cooperation in the fight against terror against Islamic State. And Virat Kohli shines in India's stunning victory against Australia to seal a semi-final berth in the World T20 Championship. Well, our focus this morning, the centre on Sunday imposed a president's rule in Uttarakhand and the state assembly has been kept in suspended animation after President Pranab Mukherjee signed a proclamation under Article 356 of the Constitution. Now, the development comes just a day before Chief Minister Harish Rawat was slated to face a floor test to prove the Congress government's majority. Now, Congress has accused the BJP-led NDA government of murdering democracy and has said it will now approach the court. President's rule imposed in Uttarakhand on Sunday, just a day before the crucial trust vote in the State Assembly for the Harish Rawat government. The centre justified the move on grounds of breakdown of governance, with the decision coming in the wake of a political crisis triggered by a rebellion in the ruling Congress. The cabinet recommended the imposition of central rule in the state last night following an hour-long emergency meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It then received the formal nod from President Pranab Mukherjee.
संविधान में लिखा है कि जब बजट और अप्रोप्रिएशन बिल फेल हो जाता है तो सरकार को इस्तीफा देना पड़ता है। ये स्वतंत्र भारत में पहला उदाहरण है और एकमात्र उदाहरण है कि एक फेल्ड बिल को पारित घोषित कर दिया जाए। उत्तराखंड की स्थिति ऐसी है कि यहां संविधान के प्रावधानों का पूर्ण रूप से उल्लंघन हो रहा है।
The dismissal of the Harish Rawat government rendered today's scheduled confidence vote infructuous. The Congress has said it will challenge the decision in court.
जो राष्ट्रपति शासन जो लागू किया है उसको हम कोर्ट में चैलेंज करेंगे और साथ-साथ में ये कहेंगे कि ये सारा मैलाफाइडे है और ये जो केंद्र सरकार है और बीजेपी है खास तौर पे ये साजिश के साथ जो भी सरकारें कांग्रेस पार्टी की हैं जहां भी हैं जिन्हीं भी प्रदेशों में हैं उनको गिराना चाहती है और इनकी ये नीति है।
ऐसा कोई इतिहास ऐसा कोई उदाहरण हो कि जो जिस सरकार को कहा जा रहा हो कि दूसरे दिन 28 तारीख को कल आप अपना बहुमत सिद्ध करिए और उसको यहां तक कि 24 घंटे का भी समय न मिले और उससे पहले जो है 24 घंटे से भी कम समय के अंदर उसको बर्खास्त कर दिया जाए।
At the same time, Uttarakhand Assembly Speaker disqualified 9 rebel Congress MLAs from Assembly and informed Election Commission regarding the decision.
केंद्रीय कार्य मंत्री और भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस की मुख्य सचेतक श्रीमती इंदिरा हृदय के द्वारा दी गई याचिका पर दल बदल कानून के तहत मैंने अपना निर्णय कर दिया है और उसमें उस दल के 9 विधायक उनकी सदस्यता समाप्त कर दी।
Earlier, the rebel Congress MLAs had alleged that they were offered bribe by Harish Rawat for support during the floor test in the assembly and had released a video of a sting operation purportedly showing the chief minister, who called it fake.
राज्य में संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाई जा रही हो, संसदीय परंपराओं और मर्यादा का हत्या की जा रही हो, ऐसे प्रदेश में अगर राष्ट्रपति शासन नहीं लगेगा तो फिर धारा 356 का क्या अर्थ है? सदन में हारी मुख्यमंत्री और आज तक उनके पास 32 छोड़ के 33वां विधायक नहीं है और 37 विधायक उनके खिलाफ, और फिर भी वो सत्ता पे चिपके हुए हैं।
Uttarakhand Governor Krishnakant Paul held a meeting of top officials in Dehradun following imposition of President's rule. Former Director General of CRPF Prakash Mishra and former Union Cultural Secretary Ravindra Singh have been appointed as advisors to the Governor. The crisis in the Hill State started earlier this month when 9 Congress lawmakers rebelled and sided with the BJP, demanding a division of votes on the finance bill. The Speaker cleared the finance bill despite alleged lack of numbers in favour of the Harish Rawat government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And very strong reactions coming into the centre's decision to impose President's rule in Uttarakhand. Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi tweeting and also targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying that don't let your love of power overrule people's mandate. INC India is ready to fight elections. Seek people's mandate. Don't usurp their right. Also, Delhi Chief Minister and AAP Chief Arvind Kejriwal also reacting to the developments, saying that BJP is anti-democracy. BJP RSS want dictatorship, want to rule India through President's rule. Kejriwal also calling it a murder of democracy. Let's listen in to some other political reactions on the developments in Uttarakhand.
खुशी है कि आज हम उत्तराखंड को बचाने में जिस मुहिम में पिछले एक साल से, मैं देखिए आज ये अचानक नहीं हुआ, पिछले एक साल से हमको ये महसूस जब होने लगा कि हरीश भाई को बहुत समझाने के बाद भी ये समझने वाले नहीं है। एक भी मंत्री हरीश रावत जी की कार्यप्रणाली से खुश नहीं था।
The Uttarakhand episode, to put it at its mildest, is a murder of democracy. There is a double whammy here. You have short-circuited the governor's floor test vote of confidence tomorrow. This was known for more than 1 week. In other words, the BJP government has no confidence in the confidence vote.
A very serious attack on federalism, because the confidence vote was due in a few hours from now. Before that, taking such an action is a clear violation of the Bommai judgment.
अचानक कांग्रेस के 9 विधायकों को तोड़ा गया। अब अगर उसकी तफसील आप जानना चाहेंगे तो शुरू से कांग्रेस इस बात की तकरार कर रही है कि उन्हें हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग की गई है, पैसा दिया गया, लालच दी गई, मसल पावर, मनी पावर को इस्तेमाल करके वहां से ये सारी गतिविधियां शुरू हुई हैं।
This government only shows that they will go to any extent to save themselves and to demolish others. That is how this is happening. That is why this is happening. They are not for any constitutional procedure.
The real issue, to my mind, as a citizen of the country and as a student of the Constitution, is whether the government in Uttarakhand lost support of the majority in the House. If they lost the majority support, they should have gone immediately.
Well, on to some other news now. 72 people, mostly women and children, have been killed in powerful suicide bomb attack at a party in Lahore in Pakistan. Nearly 300 people have been injured in the attack that took place on Easter on Sunday. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called up his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif and condemned the attack. Modi also called for a sustained fight against terrorism.
मैं तो बर्गर लगा रहा था, एकदम जोर का धमाके की आवाज आई है, तो समझ नहीं लगी क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ।
A powerful blast ripping through the Gulshan-e-Iqbal Park in Lahore on Sunday. The victims, mostly women and children who were enjoying Easter holiday. The suicide bomber blowing himself up inside the park, leaving scores dead and many injured.
ਉਹ ਮੇਰਾ 22 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਿਆ, ਉਹ ਮੇਰੀਆਂ ਨਿੱਕੀਆਂ ਰੁੱਤੀਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਪੁੱਤਰਾ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚੀ ਹੈ 2 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ, ओ अल्लाह साईं ओ इंज न करे हा पुत्रा।
The Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, a splinter group of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, has claimed responsibility for the attack. The suicide bomber is believed to be in his 20s. The police say the head of the bomber has been recovered. Ball bearings were also found at the spot of the blast.
बड़ा आज का लाहौर के अंदर जो अफसोसनाक वाक़या हुआ है, इसको चीफ मिनिस्टर पंजाब जो है वो लम्हा जो है वो इस वक्त सारे मामलात को वॉच कर रहे हैं और इस वक्त जो है पूरी जो पंजाब हुकूमत है और उसकी तमाम एजेंसीज जो हैं वो मुतहरक हैं। तमाम हॉस्पिटल को रेड अलर्ट जो है वो जारी कर दिया गया है और डॉक्टर्स की छुट्टियों को मनसूख कर दिया गया है।
Officials are ruling out the possibility that the blast was targeted at the minority Christian community. They say the park was a soft target. About 10 to 15 kilograms of explosives is believed to have been used in triggering the explosion in the area that is considered relatively calm. Lahore is also Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's hometown. Prime Minister Narendra Modi called up his Pakistani counterpart and offered deep condolences to the victims of the terror attack. During the conversation, Modi underlining the need for uncompromising efforts to fight against terrorism. Earlier, reaching on Twitter, Prime Minister Modi strongly condemned the blast and offered condolences and prayers to the families of those affected. The Punjab government in Pakistan has announced a 3-day mourning following the attack. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, back home, a 5-member joint investigation team from Pakistan that includes an ISI official is in India to carry out a probe into the attack at the Indian Air Force base at Pathankot. The team will visit the air base and is also likely to question witnesses there. The team will be given limited access to the air base, where at least 7 military personnel were killed after an attack by alleged Pakistani terrorists. The team will also analyze the investigations being carried out by the NIA so far. The team would be going to the NIA headquarters where they would be given a presentation by the NIA team about the probe conducted so far and also evidences that show that the terror attack was planned from across the border in Pakistan. In the post-lunch session, the Pakistani team would be raising their set of questions to the NIA investigators to clear their doubts, if any. In Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people to resort to water conservation methods to tackle the issue of dropping water tables. In his monthly radio program, Man Ki Baat, the Prime Minister said that the government is constructing 5 lakh farming poles to counter the dropping water level. He also asked the farming community to use less fertilizers and more modern technology like the Farmers app for their benefit. He also said that under Manrega, efforts are being made to conserve water.
इस बार आपने देखा होगा 5 लाख तालाब, खेत तालाब बनाने का बीड़ा उठाया है। मनरेगा से भी जल संचय के लिए एसेट्स क्रिएट करने की तरफ बल दिया है। आपको खुशी होगी कि एक किसान सुविधा ऐप आप सबकी सेवा में प्रस्तुत किया है। ये किसान सुविधा ऐप के माध्यम से अगर आप उसको अपने मोबाइल फोन में डाउनलोड करते हैं तो आपको कृषि संबंधी, वेदर संबंधी बहुत सारी जानकारियां अपनी हथेली में ही मिल जाएगी। बाजार का हाल क्या है, मंडियों में क्या स्थिति है, इन दिनों अच्छी फसल का क्या दौर चल रहा है।
Let's now bring you all the assembly election related news in Verdict 2016. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi kick-started his West Bengal poll campaign on Sunday. The Prime Minister, while addressing a rally in Kharagpur, urged voters to give BJP a chance. He highlighted his government's corruption-free image to take on the scam-tongue Trinamool Congress. He also slammed the CPM and the Congress for their alliance in West Bengal and rivalry in Kerala. Modi said that Bengal had failed to attract industries in the last 5 years, and he accused Mamata Banerjee of failing to bring about any change in the state. He also hit out at the TMC on the issue of corruption, such as the Sarada scam.
आपके करीब 40 साल बर्बाद हो गए। मुझे मौका दो। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को एक मौका दो। मैं विश्वास दिलाता हूं मेरे पश्चिम बंगाल के भाइयों बहनों, ये जो बर्बाद हो चुका है, उसी खंडहर में से नया बंगाल हम बना के रहेंगे भाइयों।
Meanwhile, in the state of Assam, a senior CPM leader, Brinda Karat, on Sunday expressed concern over the rise of BJP in the multi-ethnic and multi-community state. Karat took a dig at Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said that just because he sold Assam tea does not mean that he helped the great tea growers in the state. He said that the central government had stopped the ration for tea garden workers after the BJP-led NDA came to power. The CPM leader alleged that the BJP is trying to divide people on communal lines and also by politics of nationalism, by curbing the freedom of expression in universities. He also criticized the Congress government for failing to work for all-round development of the state. The senior CPIM leader was in Guwahati to campaign for Sangeeta Das, the party's candidate in Dispur constituency.
Assam has been unable to move forward. For development, you need peace. BJP is committed to Ashanti. BJP is committed to rule on the basis of divisive politics. The Congress has never been in a position to have an uncompromising fight.
More news from Assam, where Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi has countered Prime Minister's comment on his advancing age, saying that he was as enthusiastic as a youth. Now, Gogoi was responding to Prime Minister Modi, who, in response to Gogoi's call for a direct fight, had brought up the issue of his age, saying that Gogoi, in a few years, you will be 90 years. Gogoi, meanwhile, has hit out at the Prime Minister, saying that the centre has taken away special status for the state and is hampering the growth of Assam.
हाई बुजुर्ग है, लेकिन बुजुर्ग आज जितना काम किया तो है एक यंग आदमी से हम ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं।
Well, time for another short break. We'll be right back.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha Television.
On to some international news now. And the Syrian army has fully retaken the ancient city of Palmyra after days of intense battle against the Islamic State. Now, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad called the victory a historic moment, saying that it was an important battle in the Syrian anti-terrorism war. The historic city of Palmyra, remember, had fallen to IS militants last year in May.
الأمن والاستقرار إلى مدينة تدمر وأحكمت سيطرتها الكاملة على الجبال والتلال الحاكمة المحيطة بها.
Syrian government forces, backed by heavy Russian air support, drove the Islamic State out of Palmyra, inflicting what the army called a mortal blow to militants. The Islamic State seized the city last year and destroyed most of its ancient temples. The loss of Palmyra is being seen as one of the biggest setbacks for the Islamist group. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad called the liberation of the historic city an important achievement. Assad also termed it as an indication of the success of the strategy pursued by the Syrian army and its allies in the war against terrorism. Russian President Vladimir Putin also called Assad to congratulate him on the recapture. Putin assured Assad that despite the withdrawal of bulk of Russia's military contingent from Syria, Russian forces will continue to help the Syrian authorities in their anti-terrorist efforts. The United Nations also expressed relief over the recapture.
We are encouraged and fortunate that Syrian government forces have been able to retrieve and defeat ISIS from Palmyra, and is now able to preserve and protect these human common asset, cultural asset. And I'm also encouraged by their announcement that they will try to not only preserve and protect, they will try to restore. I hope they will be able to do that.
Palmyra is all set to become a launch pad to expand military operations against Islamic State. Syrian forces have promised to tighten the noose on the terrorist group and cut supply routes ahead of their complete recapture.
وبالتالي أمامنا طريق طويل لمحاربة داعش، لإقفال الحدود، لمنع دخول المجموعات المسلحة. عندها يمكن أن نقول بدأ الحل السياسي وبدأ السلام يعود إلى
هيئة حكومية انتقالية أم هيئة حكومة موحدة موسعة ما بين جميع السوريين. النقطة الثانية هل هناك سيكون ديمقراطية برلمانية أم رئاسية؟
While destroying the terror network remains the final goal, restoration of the World Heritage Site is also a priority, a target that is likely to be achieved by the end of the year.
هناك الأعمال قد تنتهي خلال 2016 بكل بساطة. لدينا الإمكانيات هائلة كمديرية عام الآثار والمتاحف بما نملك من خبرات موجودة، وأصلا قمنا بعشرات المشاريع الترميم في موقع تدمر. لدينا الخبرة المتراكمة حول هذا الموضوع.
Lasting peace in Syria remains a distant and elusive prospect as it is confronted with both military and political obstacles. Despite the recent retaking of the ancient city of Palmyra from the Islamic State, Syrian government forces still have a long way to go before they eliminate all terrorist groups from their territory. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Belgian authorities have conducted 13 raids in Brussels and Antwerp, detaining 9 people for questioning connection with terrorism. Now, 5 of those detained were later released amid criticism that Europe has not done enough to share intelligence about suspected Islamist militants. Now, cooperation amongst the European countries appears to be deepening, with Italy also arresting an individual linked to the Brussels attack. Now, he's suspected to have provided the bombers with the fraudulent documents to help the intercontinental movement. Meanwhile, Belgian police used water cannons to control hundreds of demonstrators who gathered near memorials laid for the victims after ignoring an official call for a postponement of the solidarity marches. Protesters shouted slogans condemning the attacks, which, remember, had killed 31 people and injured scores of others.
C'est plutôt un lieu pour être ensemble et pour se parler et dire un peu ce qu'on ressent et pas pour utiliser la violence, quoi.
C'est pas l'endroit, c'est pas le moment. Si c'est des casseurs, bon, s'ils viennent, c'est pas pour se recueillir, hein, c'est pour casser. Hein, donc malheureusement, c'est ça. Ils sont pas dans toutes les manifestations. Hein, quand ils peuvent, pourquoi pas.
Comme le confinement était très difficile dès le début, puisqu'il y avait beaucoup de gens, non uniquement à Place de la Bourse, mais aussi sur leur trajet. Il y avait des familles, des enfants, donc le confinement a été très difficile. Ça a été une opération de police très périlleuse pour arrêter ces gens.
And on to cricket now. Well, World T20 title favourites India stormed into the semi-final of the tournament with a sensational 6-wicket victory over Australia in their final group match in Mohali. Virat Kohli, with his 82 not out, provided the spark with superlative display of batting to help India overhaul the target with 5 balls to spare. The men in blue will next play West Indies in the semi-finals.
विराट कोहली वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया.
एक से एक अद्भुत शॉट्स.
That's what the Sunday match at the ICC World T20 tournament turned out to be, as India clinched a semi-final berth in the tournament.
Have made the semi-finals of the ICC World 2020.
Dhoni's men in blue defeated Australia by 6 wickets to set up the semi-final clash against West Indies. Kohli's brilliant unbeaten 82 of 51 balls reduced Australian bowlers to mere bystanders.
Amazing, amazing, absolutely.
Steve Smith and his men, who had hoped to end Australia's ignominy of never winning the T20 World Cup, could only stand and admire as boundaries flowed from Kohli's bat in front of a packed stadium in Mohali. India chased down the target of 161 runs in style.
India have made the semi-finals of the ICC World 2020.
It was an incredible innings, especially the fact that the wicket was not easy to bat on. Especially the back of the length deliveries, it was quite difficult to get it away. Especially the spinners. The good thing, I don't think they bowled too many spinners. And also, to some extent, he was hampered, in between, and he had a partnership with UV. UV twisted his ankle, so they couldn't, convert those 1.5 runs into 2.
Australia looked well until the end of the 17th over of India's chase. India needed 39 from the last 3 overs when Kohli decided to open the floodgates. He smashed 9 fours and 2 sixes. Captain Cool Dhoni hit the last 4 to win the match, and an emotional Kohli sat down on his knees with a bowed head as if to soak in the adulation of his teammates, the opposition, the crowd and the millions watching on television.
We haven't really seen their best game.
We probably did let ourselves down a little bit in the middle overs again. That's one area that, particularly in these conditions, that we haven't done so well at consistently, and that was something that we've worked really hard on. So we probably did let ourselves down a little bit there, losing a few wickets in clumps.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter to congratulate Team India for its brilliant victory. In the first semi-finals, New Zealand and England will take on each other in Kotla on 30th of March, while India will fight the informed West Indies on 31st in Mumbai. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
What cricket is all about, the determination.
Let's also take a look at the other T20 group match that played out yesterday, and also the matches that are lined up for today. Well, underdogs Afghanistan stunned West Indies by 6 runs to take home a consolation victory in the World T20 in Nagpur after being sent in to bat first. Asghar Stanzai's side posted a respectable 123 for 7, with Najibullah Zardan smashing an unbeaten 48 against the 2012 World T20 champions. Well, the West Indies, who had perfect record heading into the match with 3 straight wins, warned that they were not going to let up against Afghanistan, but their run chase got off to a shaky start, with opener Elvin Lewis dismissed for a duck. And then some excellent Afghanistan spin bowling led by 17-year-old Rashid Khan meant that the wickets kept on falling. Meanwhile, in today's match, South Africa and Sri Lanka will face off each other in the last league match at Firozshah Kotla. Both the teams are out of the tournament and there is not much to play for. Therefore, both the teams will play only for pride.
Down the track, beautifully played again.
That's all in this edition of News at 10. Thanks so much for watching.